welcome to your channel. Please like, share and subscribe your own channel, School Studies. Now you might be thinking why to subscribe my channel, School Studies. In this channel you will get daily one video related to different topic or subject which will help you to understand or learn more. In this channel you will get videos related to different subjects such as English grammar, general knowledge, social science, mathematics and science. Today we will see a video related to science subject. In that today's topic is NCERT Solution for Class 7 Science Chapter 12 Reproduction in Plants. Before starting with the chapter, let's do the summary of the chapter. All organisms multiply or reproduce their own kind. In plants, there are two modes of reproduction, asexual and sexual. There are several methods of sexual reproduction such as fragmentation, budding, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of male and female gametes. In vegetative propagation, new plants are produced from different vegetative parts such as leaves, stem, and roots. Flower is the reproductive part of a plant. A flower may be unisexual with either the male or the female reproductive parts. A bisexual plant has both the male and female reproduction parts. The male gametes are found inside the pollen grains and the female gametes are found in the ovule. Pollination is the process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of the same or another flower. Pollination takes place in plants with the help of wind, water, and insects. Pollination is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. In self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. In cross-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther of one flower to the stigma of the another flower of the same kind. The fusion of male and female gametes are called fertilization. Fertilized egg is called zygote. Zygote develops into an embryo. Fruit is the mature ovary, whereas ovule develops into a seed which contains the developing embryo. Seed dispersal is aided by wind, water, and animals. Seed dispersal helps the plants to prevent overcrowding, avoid competition for sunlight, water, and minerals, and invade new habitat. So this was the summary of the chapter. Now let's do the exercise of the textbook. So in that, first question is fill in the blanks. The first one is production of new individuals from the vegetative part of a parent is called vegetative propagation. A flower may have either male or female reproductive parts. Such a flower is called unisexual flower. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same or of another flower of the same kind is known as pollination. The fusion of male and female gametes is termed as fertilization. Seed dispersal takes place by means of wind, water, and animals. Question 2. Describe the different methods of asexual reproduction. Give examples. So there are various methods of asexual reproduction. In that, first one is the vegetative propagation. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced from roots, stem, leaves, and birth. Since reproduction takes place through the vegetative part of the plant, it is known as vegetative propagation. Second is budding, where the small bulb like projection comes out from each cell is called a bud, gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms organism. Example: yeast. The new yeast grows, matures, and produces more yeast. If this process continues, a large number of yeast are produced in a short time. The third one is the fragmentation. This type of reproduction is common in algae. These are slimly green patches in ponds or in other stagnant water bodies. When water and nutrients are available, algae grow and multiply ra- rapidly by fragmentation. An algae breaks up into two or more fragments. These fragments or pieces grow into new individuals. This process continues and they grow, cover a large area in a short period of time. Next is spore formation. The fungi on a bread piece grows due to the spore which are present in the air. When spores are released, they keep floating in the air. As they are very light, they can travel over long distances. The spores are asexual reproductive bodies. Each spore is covered by a hard protective coat to withstand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity, so they can survive for a long time. Under favorable conditions, a spore germinates and develops into a new individual. Plants such as moss and fern also reproduce by means of spores. Question 3 is: explain what you understand by sexual reproduction. So the answer is: sexual reproduction means involvement of two parents in the process of reproduction. It is found mainly in higher plants, where male gametes and female gametes fuse to form a zygote. These zygotes developed into individuals which are not identical. Offsprings inherit the characteristics of both the plants. In sexual reproduction, both parents survive after the process of reproduction. Question 4 is: state the main difference between the asexual and sexual reproduction. So the main difference is: in sexual reproduction, seed is required, but in asexual reproduction, seed is not required. Question 5 is: sketch the reproductive part of a plant. So these are the reproductive parts of the plant. Now, sixth question: explain the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination. So the answer is: if the pollen lands on the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollination. When the pollen of a flower lands on the stigma of another flower of the same plant, or that of the different plant of the same kind, it is called cross-pollination. Question 7: how does the process of fertilization takes place in flowers? So the answer is: when the pollen grains reaches the stigma of same species flower, it starts growing out into the pollen tube of the stigma. This tube continues to grow inside the style till it reaches the ovule. Male cells are released into the ovule for fertilization with the female egg cell, and thus the zygote is formed. After this process of fertilization, the ovary develops into fruits and ovule into seeds. Question 8. Describe the various ways by which seeds are dispersed. Seeds and fruits of plants are carried away by the following ways: dispersion of winds, winged seeds such as those of the drumsticks and ample, light seeds of the grasses, or hairy seeds of egg madder, and hairy fruits of sunflower get blown off with the wind to far away places. Dispersion by water. Some seeds are dispersed by water. These fruits and seeds usually develop floating ability in the form of spongy or fibrous outer coat as in coconut. Dispersion by animals. Some seeds are dispersed by animals, especially spring seeds with the hooks which get attached to the bodies of the animals and are carried to distant places. For example, xanthium and urina. Dispersion by explosion. Some seeds are dispersed when the fruits burst with sudden jerks. The seeds are scattered far from the parent plant. This happens in the case of castor and balsam. Question 9 is match items in column 1 with those in column 2. So these are the column 1 and column 2. Now let's see the answer. So the butte, yeast, ice, potato, fragmentation, spirogyra, wings, ample, spores, bread mold. Question 10, tick the correct answer. The first one is the reproductive part of a plant is the answer is flower. The process of fusion of the male and the female gametes is called fertilization. Mature ovary forms the fruit. A spore producing plant is bread mold. Byroselium can reproduced by its leaves. So this was the solution of the exercise of the textbook. I hope you liked my video. Thanks for watching my video. Thank you. Please leave comment, question or doubts in comment section if you have any, or you can drop a mail to us. You will find my email ID at the end of this video. You can also join us on Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, connect us on LinkedIn or tweet us on Twitter. Thanks for watching my video. Thank you.